Hello everybody, this is Dr.Gita Mathai and this is my Health Vibes channel. Today we are going to talk about genes. All human beings are composed of cells and each cell has 22 autologous chromosomes and one pair of sex chromosomes. These 22 chromosomes are common in males and females. One chromosome is inherited from the father and the other chromosome is inherited from the mother. Along with this, the 23rd chromosome comes along, and this can be either a double X or an XY. If the X comes from the mother, then it is a girl and she becomes a double X. If the Y comes from the father, then it becomes an XY and she becomes a boy. So basically what happens is, whether it is a boy or a girl is a fact that is determined at the time of conception. There is no point in saying prayers afterwards saying I want a girl or I want a boy. The prayers have to be said before you become pregnant. Once the genes are established and the boy or girl is born, half the chromosomes are from the mother and the other half is from the father. So some of these chromosomes are very strong. The genes are very strong and they will express themselves. It doesn't mean that it is always the father's gene that expresses itself. Either gene can be stronger than the other. So if you have a very strong gene for curly hair, then your hair will be curly even though one parent has straight hair. The other way is, some genes are recessive and they do not express themselves at all. A typical example of this is the blood group. If you are of blood group O and both your parents are blood group O, then the gene is recessive and you will definitely not be of any other blood group. Then by determining the genes, it is possible to establish whether you will carry a certain disease or not. Diseases which are transmitted through genes are sickle cell anemia, then thalassemia, and sometimes even cancers. People who carry the BRCA1 or the BRCA2 gene are more likely to get prostate, breast and ovarian cancer. Also, diabetes and hypertension and lipid problems are transmitted in the genes. But remember one thing, just because you have a gene, it does not mean that you are going to get the disease. There is nature and there is nurture. Nature is the genes that you are born with, and nurture is the environment in which you grew up in. If from a young age you know that, for example, both your parents have diabetes, then from a young age you can take steps to prevent yourself from getting the disease by maintaining a proper diet, exercising regularly, trying to live in a pollution-free environment and eating healthily. Now, if you know that you carried the gene for a certain disease, you might develop a psychological fear and become very depressed. If you know that you don't carry the gene, then you might take your life very lightly and indulge in all kinds of habits which will make you suffer from that cancer or that disease anyway, even though you did not have much of the gene originally. Gene testing and DNA testing can be used even when the baby is in the womb to determine if it carries certain diseases. It can be used to determine who is the perpetrator of a crime, like a rape. And DNA can be obtained from the hair, from the blood, from the saliva, from the seminal fluid, and by testing this, it is possible to know who perpetuated that particular crime. DNA testing can also be used to determine paternity, but to use this for paternity, the court has to mandate it. You cannot go and test your child or yourself to see if you are the father, because that is against the law. People who have genetic diseases like thalassemia or sickle cell disease can now avail things like stem cell therapy, which will change their genetic composition and cure themselves from that particular disease. This can also be used for blood cancers, leukemia, lymphomas, and a variety of other diseases. Genetic testing, DNA testing, and chromosomal modification have reached a long way, and the research and the progress is going further and further in this line of research. This is Dr. Gita Mathai signing off. This is my Health Vibes channel. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell button. Thank you. The same content is available in Tamil.